We ball. We ball. We ball. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try 6K bitrate. What up, Catabra? I was first. We the best. Fuck it, we ball. There's a non-0% chance my internet will crap out, but we fucking ball. Fuck it, we ball. Ball is life. We ball. All right. I have been testing. Too early to determine, Catabra. And saying nerfed going from that season to this season, I think is a very unhealthy framework because everybody is nerfed leaving season 11. You can't equip 5 more free uniques to your character. So if it's just a reduction in power is nerfing, then we can't really contextualize changes, which I don't think is particularly useful. The power scale of players has been brought down. The requirements for survivability have increased. This is going to have different level points for every class and every build for how much power they can fit onto their character and how much consideration for survivability they'll need. At that point, we shouldn't see these as nerfs or buffs or really any of that. We should determine the new normal because the game is different. But I've been working, I've been capturing data, I sat down and for like 8 hours just from level 1 to tier 45-ish. Just played through a character. And I just at the end of last night started putting together like endgame builds and trying to figure out what they look like. So for Sever, right now, on a regular character in endgame gear without sanctification, I have Sever realistically doing like pit tier 87 on a 200 some odd Paragon character. And with sanctification, that number gets a lot higher, but we're talking about like pretty insane gear. So I went through and I sanctified a full set of gear. The outcomes that I got were a dead stat here. Resource cost reduction, effectively a dead stat. Physical damage, effectively a dead stat. Ignore durability loss, dead stat. Cooldown reduction, nice to have. Another GA, so this is now a 3 GA item. Additional maximum life, actually pretty good. Gem strength in this item, also pretty interesting. Not like massively moving the needle, but it is an additional 134 all res, which is pretty cool. And then maximum life for survivability. I also slammed crit chance onto Blood Moon Breaches, and I felt like I was dying before I could kill stuff. So maybe there's a universe, and that's why I actually have Heart and Bones on Legendary Pants rather than using Blood Moon Breaches. So I already found one inflection point where I couldn't survive the content, so I had to put on more survivability, which is obviously going to reduce my damage, but then I can actually do the content. Would max glyphing be possible? Like, take current concerns, throw them away. Take current considerations of things, throw them away. I think that if the power scale of characters comes down this far, glyph leveling needs to be reinvestigated. It's not, is this possible? It's a PTR. Anything is possible because they could change anything. So we need to, what we need to do is we need to set baselines and then go, okay, not is this good, but what else needs to be modified? That's where I'm coming at it from. It reminds you of early seasons where it was harder to read gear. I hate it. I dislike it a lot for that exact reason. We learned that reading through and comparing 8 stats when you looked at 2 pieces of gear was hard. So we swapped where that stat came from. And then we went, no, let's go back. So we are unlearning it. The worst way to phrase it is we're unlearning lessons. The best way to phrase it is things change in response to pain points. But if you change the disease state, the symptoms should also change. So it begs the question, what can be walked back and was it better before prior to these iterations? So it's good to re-explore things. I don't think that this is a good exploration because I don't think putting another affix to the gear is good. What I assume happened, well, that's also not fair. I can't say what I assume happened because it's not fair. Not because I know, but because I quite literally can't. I can't imagine it. But it feels like this occurred for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure why. What I would like to do is I would like to explore sanctifying weapons until I get a ridiculous combination and seeing what that looks like. Can't stand new masterworking tempering. Oh, I think masterworking tempering is like strictly better in every way, shape, and form. I think I think it accomplishes 2 things. 1, it takes power away from gear. 2, it makes itemization decisions more interesting because it's not just I'm gonna triple masterwork this and then not have to care about lucky hit chance or movement speed or crit chance or attack speed. So now all of the rest of my gear can just be as strong as possible. That's not interesting to me. Whereas Ring of Starless Skies has become more valuable because it can have a GA on crit chance and you can get another one on attack speed. And this helps to fill in a lot, but doesn't just solve these things entirely by themselves. But what issues would you say that you're running into masterworking and tempering? Feels like 2 different teams, 2 sets of ideas. If you've been following along, you will notice that the entirety of the team that you now know on Diablo 4 is different than who was on it when it was first developed and was on it while it was being developed before it came out and who was on it shortly after launch. It doesn't feel like that. That is true. What I will say about the 4 affixes versus 3 affixes, it's only an issue during the weird part of leveling where they're both available, and then the moment that they're not, it goes away. Ha! What's up, Verbit? Thoughts on Sanctifying being big RNG versus Deterministic with bigger material cost? People who want Determinism and Sanctifying are bad at ARPGs. I'm gonna hard line it. I'm gonna super hard fucking line it. People need to learn and be uncomfortable. Fucking thing they could have added to this game. Stick outcomes from it are... I think people are reacting to pain points they've felt and aren't zooming back out to what is possible, and instead are only thinking about what I personally think is good and what personally would make me feel the most powerful, which is not the purpose of slamming items. Slamming items are Hail Marys, and people thinking about them as like, I will have perfect gear, are going to have a very rude awakening, and I think it's going to be for the better. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Flew a little bit too close to the sun there. E4 item UI is insanely cluttered. This is cluttered? I was trying to run at 6K output, and so, okay, the internet is going to be spotty. I actually, just before this stream started, had already re-escalated. You didn't read about toughness? Then you did not read the patch notes. It is like the major focal point of the rework, the rework of the season. Basically, we don't have armor and resistance caps now. We have Diablo 3's toughness, and toughness is a diminishing return system of stacking armor, res, and life equates to an effective life. So I effectively have 187,000 life if I'm being hit with a fire attack. I hate it, but basically we'll just learn what toughness values you have to get to, and then we'll just tell you. And it's trial and error, and there's no way for you to intuit it, and there's no way for you to make good decisions about it. You're just kind of shooting in the dark. And I fucking hate it. This thing, fucking hate it. Hard stop, fucking hate it. I've talked to people who like it. I talk to people who understand it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I think it's bad. Like, cannot be... So here are the two things. I fully recognize its value, and I can explain its value, and its value is very important. I'm not confused about it. I hate that we as the players are no longer really working towards a goal that can be communicated and educated on. It's just more toughness is better. And some builds will need more or less. And it's per build, and it's per class's ability to stack it. Sanctified gear will probably reverse back to its original state. Yep. Well, one, like, who cares about Eternal? But two, no. I don't know if you've seen, have you seen your Chaos Uniques? Phoenix down. Thank you very much for the follow. Because sure, they lost the chaos power, but they still are Ebon Piercer on your pants, in the best pants you could possibly equip in the game. So typically, when things are changed, the actual affixes on the items aren't changed at all. And just like the aspects will go away, or they will change. But you... God damn it, internet! Okay. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna turn off the music for a second. So, I'm just going to keep streaming until literally the streams go down. I'm just going to have spotty internet all day. And here's the thing. It makes me understandably upset when people are having a bad time watching the stream. I'm going to put this up here. Because if I stop every single time somebody says, oh, is it a bit laggy? And just get really anxious about it, I'm going to lose my shit and I'm going to have to take down the stream. So I'm just going to stream. I'm going to leave this right here. What up, Trudy? I'm going to leave this right here in chat if you could help to explain to other people I have a shitty ISP and they're working on my internet service. Okay. Don't you just ignore toughness and just care about resistances? So saying that would make it seem like we can do something with those other numbers that is like proactive and matters. But those numbers are the same thing. So have I experimented with affliction? What would the experiment be? So here's my armor. And my armor is this number. And my armor feeds into my resistances. And these resistances are at this number. But none of this really matters unless my maximum life is high enough. So this number, which is just take how much maximum life you have and take how much you would reduce physical damage by and take how much you would reduce it all by armor and then get to this number, is the same thing. Well, it shows you your toughness. Toughness isn't a real stat. Toughness is an evaluation of how much maximum life you have, multiplied by how much you reduce incoming damage by, multiplied by how much you reduce a specific element by, multiplied by how much you reduce incoming damage via damage reduction. That is your toughness stat. This also doesn't tell me whether or not it's enough lightning resistance. And this doesn't tell me whether or not it's enough armor. And this doesn't tell me whether or not it's enough maximum life. That's my major issue. is that none of them tell you, and we don't know. And this is just as equally as useless. But, like, at least I can say, like, as long as your maximum life is this number and your minimum toughness is this number, you should survive on this build. They should have included a cache. It was just a bug that it didn't get included, PG. Nobody, it is not like a choice. It was just a mistake. There's got to be a formula. There is a formula. It's a very straightforward formula. The thing we don't have the formula for, though, is the rate of diminishing returns for resistances and armor yet. So let me, because we'll sit here all day if all I'm doing is answering individual questions about this, because you know I can't ignore questions and probably have ADHD. Watched a druid with over 1 million toughness. My toughness gets up to like 5 million and you still die. So here's what I'm going to say. What toughness is an at-a-glance representation of your survivability number. What it really is just an equation of all of the damage reductions that you have multiplied against how much maximum life you have to tell you what's the biggest hit you could take. Take this number -1, and that's the biggest hit you could take without dying. No one can answer a lot of questions right now. How much of it you need? At what point do you need it? Whether or not we'll be able to make decisions between it and damage. And whether or not these numbers are different content type to content type. My initial givings are, this character can do enough damage to do a pit tier 85 right now. But I could not survive a pit tier 85 right now. So I'll show you that.